Today, we're going to talk about calibrating a Prism pole, GPS rod, pogo, whatever you want to call it. Now, I've already done a video on how to use the plummet of a tribrac to calibrate a pole's level bubble. And I've talked about another method where you sight the tip of the rod with the total station, then tilt the instrument up to make sure the pole tip lines up with the top center of pole, rotating at 90 degrees for that second round. But the problem with both of those two methods is that you need other equipment set up, which adds time and it adds effort. Today we're covering probably the most accurate and definitely the easiest method, using a pole plumb jig. I've been putting off this video for a while because spending $200 to $400 for something that can be done for free, albeit not quite as effectively, goes against my frugal nature. However, I recently picked up a cheap 3D printer and came across some plans that will allow anyone to build your own pole plumb jig for less than $2 in materials. We're going to go over how to print it, how to install it, and how to use it. Let's get after it. Now, if you don't have a 3D printer, don't dismiss this video just yet. I bet there are some very fairly priced 3D printing services around you, and this jig may only cost you 10 bucks. But honestly, 3D printers are so cheap and easy to use these days, it might be worth picking one up. This Creality Ender 3 V3 KE cost me just over 200 bucks and took me 5 minutes to set up. And I have a bunch of other survey-related 3D printing projects I'm going to cover in the future. Not to spoil the surprise, but we're going to turn a peanut prism into a mini tripod, go over how to 3D print topographic surveys, and possibly even some as-built BIM models. First things first, let's drop the STL of our parts, which I'll leave a download link to in the description of this video, into our slicing software and click print. I have my printer set up on my Wi-Fi network, so that's literally the only thing I do, and about 50 minutes later, my parts are printed. I'll pop them off the print bed and remove any supporting material that was needed. Shout out to Martin_AU that posted these files on printables. I'll grab my parts, a few nuts and bolts to assemble everything, an impact driver, and a few screws, and head out to my shed to install it. This jig is relatively simple. It consists of two bracket assemblies that hold the pole plumb, and you adjust the bubble until it's centered in the vial. Each bracket assembly consists of a base plate, a 90-degree bracket that attaches to the base plate and supports the pole on one side, and a clamp that holds the pole against that 90-degree bracket. Because the clamp is flexible, it works with both your standard carbon fiber topo pole and the smaller diameter Leica poles. We'll start the install by inserting some M5 nuts into the base plate, then screw the upper base plate into a wall at the height around waist level, using a carpenter's level to get it approximately flat. The lower base plate needs to be more or less directly under the upper base plate, but I printed some shims to adjust the axes perpendicular to the wall, and the bracket that attaches to the base plate has slotted holes for adjustment parallel to the wall. To get the lower base plate approximately in the right place, I'll use my laser level, but a plumb bob or carpenter's level works fine here too. I built this shed that we're attaching the jig to, and apparently I struggled to get the walls perfectly plumb. Over the length of the brackets, I measured that I needed about 4 millimeters of spacer on my upper bracket to plumb it all out. If you use my download link, I created a series of spacers from 1 millimeter to 5 millimeters at 1 millimeter increments. If you use Martin's printable download link, it only has a 0.4 millimeter spacer. I guess Martin assumed we could actually build walls properly. There are a bunch of ways to measure plumb. Since I didn't have a plumb bob with me, and I know what kind of surveyor doesn't have one attached to their hip, I held different widths of spacers up to the top bracket, checking plumb with both sides of my level. Once I found one that seemed to work, I backed off the screws holding the base plate to the wall, slid the spacer into place, and tightened those screws back up again. I then used M5 bolts to attach the 90-degree bracket to the base plates. These bolts go through the slots I mentioned earlier that control adjustment parallel to the wall. Again, use your weapon of choice to find your plumb in the axis we're working in. I tried my laser level, but the carpenter's level ended up being the easiest method for me. I also made a hobo plumb bob out of some string line and a socket to double check level at various steps, and everything checked out more or less okay. Finally, use an M4 nut and bolt to attach a clamp to each bracket, and that's it. As long as your alignment was correct, you're done. Spoiler alert, my alignment was not correct. I guess I finally found a need for a good plumb bob after 20 years of surveying. Grab a pole and slide it under each clamp and note the bubble location in the vial. Rotate the pole 180 degrees. If the bubble was centered, it should have remained centered when rotated. If it was offset to one side, it should be offset in equal amount in the opposite direction when the pole is rotated at 180 degrees. If that's not the case, as it was not for me, you'll need to fine-tune your plumb either using spacers or the slots in the bracket depending which axis is out. It turns out I was fine parallel to the wall, but I needed another 1mm spacer up top, and after I tried that, it was as perfect as I could tell with my eye. It may be a bit of an iterative process to fine-tune your jig, but your pole's bubble will tell you if you're good or not. No matter the rotation of your pole, if it's calibrated correctly and the jig is set up right, the bubble should be centered. This particular pole wasn't quite in calibration. I checked it in the initial orientation and the bubble was off to one side, and when I rotated it 180 degrees, it was off in equal distance but in the opposite direction. It was surprisingly hard to film this, so if it doesn't look quite right, you'll just have to take my word for it. Now that the jig has been fine-tuned, adjusting a pole's level bubble is as simple as tightening the set screws one at a time to pull the vial down, which causes the bubble to move in the opposite direction of the screw you are tightening. Now don't over-tighten a screw, and once you can feel it getting too tight and the bubble isn't quite centered, you can loosen one of the screws on the other side, but just be sure not to loosen them off so much that there's not enough tension left on that side. The set screws need to be adjusted together so that ideally they have an equal tension. The amount of tension required is difficult to describe, but if you can turn the set screw very easily, it's not tight enough. If you're really cranking on it, you run the risk of stripping the screw. You want to find that sweet spot in between. Once the bubble is centered, rotate the pole 180 degrees and make sure the bubble is still centered, and if it is, you're done. Once your jig is all set up, it shouldn't take you more than a couple of minutes to check and adjust a rod. It's a good habit to get into every Monday morning or before a big control run. This second pull took me maybe 20 to 30 seconds, and it's a good thing that I did check it, because even though this pull was given to me a week or so ago and I was told it was calibrated, it wasn't when I checked it, and the set screws were far too loose. The last video I made about calibrating a pull, I had a PLS comment that if he found his employees calibrating equipment on their own, he would reprimand them. In my opinion, that's horseshit, and I really don't care for the stance that field employees aren't capable of something as fundamental as equipment calibration. So if you're just a field guy like me, take some initiative, use some care, and keep on top of your equipment calibration, because at the end of the day, you're responsible for the quality of your measurements, and a miscalibrated level bubble can often cause error that far exceeds most other sources combined. We'll wrap up this video, and I'll thank you all for watching. Like if you feel it's warranted, subscribe if you want, and I'll see you next time.